Hey, good morning. Welcome to the first part of the video on Indian financial markets. You see, every person, invest in Indian financial markets through direct or indirect means. We all invest in various asset classes like equity, bonds, and in pension funds. All these are structured, and when we are investing, we should know how all these financial participants function, and how are they controlled, and who are the regulators, and how do they control their respective areas like pension funds, insurance, equity, and mutual funds. In part 2 of the introduction to financial market, we shall discuss the Ministry of Finance. In Ministry of Finance, we shall discuss Department of Revenue and Department of Financial Services. After that, we will discuss Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Reserve Bank of India, Security and Exchange Board of India, IRDAI, that is Insurance Regulatory Authority of India, then Pension Regulatory Authority, and functions of Sebi. Now coming to the next branch of Ministry of Finance is the Department of Revenue. Department of Revenue is involved in the formulation of policies for direct and indirect taxes. The policy formulation for direct and indirect taxes is done through Central Board of Direct Taxes and Central Board of Excise and Customs. Now coming to the next is Department of Financial Services. Financial services basically involves public sector banks, private sector banks, LIC, that is Life Insurance Corporation of India, General Insurance Corporation of India, and finally the pension reforms. So any administration and policy related aspects of the government is done through Department of Financial Services with respect to public sector banks, uh, term lending financial institution. In term lending financial institution, large number of them, and LIC and GIC we know, and finally pension reforms. Next comes to Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs is basically an organization um, which basically involves in formulating policy with respect to the companies. So we generally get these policies and administration done through a number of acts of the central government. One is the Administration of Companies Act 2013, Limited Liability Partnership Act of 2008, Competition Act of 2002. Competition Act generally means that a government does not allow killing of the competition. It means formulation of cartels. Mm, if two or three companies which are producing the same product come together and fix a price, then the customer will not be benefited with competition, because one company may, if there is competition between two to three, four companies, then there will be, the price will be competitive. But if the all three or four companies come together and fix a price, then the price will not be competitive, and that will not be good for the customer. That is Competition Act of 2002. Now, in order to supervise, there are other professional bodies. We know that Indian Chartered Accountant of India, and Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Institute of Company Secretaries of India. All these comes under Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now, the most important one, the Reserve Bank of India. So let us understand the functions of the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India basically formulates and implement monetary policy, which we have already discussed. Regulator and it is basically a regulator and supervisor of financial system by prescribing broad parameters for banking operation. Whatever the banks are there in the India, so the rules and procedures for the banking operation is set by the RBI. It is also responsible for foreign policy and foreign exchange, and to facilitate foreign exchange trade. It also issues currency. Uh, it also regulates a number of payment methods in India. We know various payment methods. We have credit cards, we have debit card, we have UPI. A number of payment methods have come. All these payment methods has to be done through a framework of rules and regulations. All these rules and regulations are set by the RBI. It also acts as a banker to the government and also banker to the bank. We know that there are two aspects. One is repo and another reverse repo rate. Repo is the rate at which bank lends to the retailer, uh, and the RBI lends to the banks. And reverse repo is the rate at which the RBI purchases or takes money from the bank at a predetermined interest rate. Uh, Even though with the central government also, when they require money, RBI performs the role of getting the money from the market through the RBI bonds. So we can say safely that it also acts as a banker to the government. सो हम फंक्शंस ऑफ आरबीआई समझे तो ये पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेट करता है। मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी हमने ऑलरेडी बातचीत किया है इसके बारे में। ये दो और काम करता है, जो है फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम जो है हमारा, जैसे बैंक्स है, नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल कॉरपोरेशंस है, सोसाइटीज़ है, इन सब का कैसे चलाना है उसकी ब्रॉड पॉलिसी पैरामीटर्स जो है वो तैयार करता है। हमारा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज पॉलिसी जो है वो आरबीआई फॉर्मुलेट करता है। और इट हमको पता है आरबीआई जो है नोट छापती है तो करेंसी इशू करता है। और जो पेमेंट मेथड्स है हमारा, जैसे क्रेडिट कार्ड है, डेबिट कार्ड है, यूपीआई पेमेंट है, जितना भी हमारा पेमेंट मेथड है उसके लिए कैसे पेमेंट होना चाहिए, किस प्रोसीजर से होना चाहिए, क्या क्या सिस्टम होना चाहिए, ये सब जो है आरबीआई तैयार करती है। और आखिर में जो आरबीआई जो है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के लिए और बैंक्स के लिए बैंकर का काम करता है। इसका मतलब है बैंक्स के लिए अगर पैसा चाहिए तो, अगर गवर्नमेंट के लिए पैसा चाहिए तो आरबीआई देता है। हमको आरबीआई बॉन्ड के बारे में पता होगा, जो आरबीआई बॉन्ड जो है मार्केट से पैसा लेता है एट ए स्पेसिफिक इंटरेस्ट रेट, एंड दैट जो पैसा जो आता है वो पैसा जो है गवर्नमेंट को दिया जाता है डेवलपमेंटल एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए। फाइनली रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ कंपनीज। रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ कंपनीज बहुत बड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट है ये बेसिकली जो है जितने भी कंपनी इंडिया में होता है पहले रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ कंपनीज के साथ रजिस्टर करना पड़ता है। उसके लिए काफ़ी सारा प्रोसीजर्स पॉलिसीज़ है, तो उस बेसिस पे कंपनी को जो है रजिस्टर किया जाता है। इसके लिए हम वी कैन हैव ए सेपरेट प्रेजेंटेशन फॉर वेरियस एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द रजिस्टर ऑफ कंपनी, हाउ ए कंपनी कैन बी रजिस्टर्ड। Now comes the Sebi, the most important one. Whoever traders are there, they should be interested in this. Uh, See, Sebi is formed under the Parliament Act of 1992 to protect the interests of investors and to promote, develop security market. Now let us understand, there is a hell of a lot of functions of the Sebi. We will discuss each one in detail. The first one is the regulation. SEBI basically regulate uh, the working and registration of various aspects of this market, especially for the investors and the trading market, like intermediaries of stock markets, stock brokers, share transfer agents, underwriters. We will not go into detail of who is an underwriter and who are intermediaries. Intermediaries are nothing but the CDSL, NSDL. They are called intermediaries. Intermediaries. Underwriters basically comes during IPO. Suppose when a company is coming with an IPO, it gives the responsibility to a particular bank. That bank determines what should be the price range and all. So this is done by the underwriters. They are called underwriters. The bank which is nominated are generally called as underwriter. They frame the policies, generate the red herring prospectus and all. Uh, Next comes the trustees of trust deeds. Trust deeds nothing but if whenever you want to have a big property or something like that, the trustees will be there for any trust which is being established. Next comes merchant bankers, portfolio managers, investment advisors, foreign institutional investors, credit rating agencies, mutual funds. So all the working and registration of all these entities are done by the SEBI. We also know that I just discussed depositories like CDSL and NSDLs also comes under the SEBI. That is CDSL means Central Depository, and National Depositories. The SEBI regulations specify the net worth, experience, infrastructure, etc., required for registration of all these entities. The next important aspect of the SEBI is prohibition of unfair trade practices. Unfair trade practices basically involves insider trading. So anyone who is connected with the company and has got any information about the company cannot trade in the company's securities. He is prohibited. The company has to appoint a compliance officer to ensure that these things are not happening. The penalty for insider trading may be monetary penalties or criminal prosecution, declaring transaction of any insider as void. The third important aspect of SEBI it conduct inquiries oblique inspection. This include inquiry and audits, summon witnesses. Measures taken will be, in case if in conduct inquiries oblique inspection, put the blame on someone. There will be suspension of trading will be there. It can restrain persons under inquiry from assessing security market, and it can direct intermediaries not to dispose an asset forming part of any transaction under investigation. Suppose if an entities that is CDSL and NSDL is the one which sells and buys the shares. So they are the custodians and holders of the shares in demat form. So the SEBI can direct in case if an insider is involved, it can stop the CDSL and NSDL in selling or buying of these shares or carrying out any transaction with respect to a particular company and a particular insider trading activity. It also involved in investor education and it also regulates mergers and acquisitions. सो एक बार हम फंक्शंस ऑफ सेबी को समझ लेंगे. जितने भी मार्केट की एंटिटीज़ है जो मार्केट को चलाते हैं जैसे स्टॉक ब्रोकर, ये सब के लिए ये पॉलिसी बनाता है. दो चीज़ें हैं जैसे डिपॉजिटरीज है, मैंने अभी डिस्कस किया CDSL और NSDL, और कस्टोडियंस ऑफ सिक्योरिटी, दे आर कस्टोडियंस ऑफ सिक्योरिटी, उनको भी ये मैनेज करता है. द सेबी रेगुलेशन स्पेसिफाई द नेटवर्थ. ये जो है ये नेटवर्थ कितनी होनी चाहिए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्या होना चाहिए वो बनने के लिए, ये सब तैयार करता है सेबी. दूसरा होता है सेबी जो है अनफेयर ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस, जो प्रैक्टिस गलत ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस को ख़त्म करता है. तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट गलत प्रैक्टिस होती है इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग. इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग मतलब अगर कोई कंपनी में कोई भी एक्टिविटी हो रहा है, उस कंपनी की जो कोई भी हायर लेवल मैनेजर्स है या कंपनी के कोई भी एम्प्लॉई है, वो उस कंपनी की शेयर्स में ट्रेड नहीं कर सकता. तो वो इम्पॉर्टेंट है. और कंपनी को जो है ये कंप्लायंस ऑफिसर करके रखना चाहिए, जो कंप्लायंस ऑफिसर जो है ये इंश्योर करता है कि कंपनी के कोई भी आदमी ऑब्लिक एंटिटी जो है जिसके पास सबसे ज़्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन है कंपनी की रूल्स रेगुलेशंस और क्या हो रहा है, वो जो है कंपनी की शेयर में डील नहीं करेंगे. इसमें पेनल्टी भी है जिसमें आप क्रिमिनल प्रोसिक्यूशन हो सकता है, ट्रांसैक्शन को वाइड बना किया जा सकता है. ये सब है बहुत सारे. और तीसरा काम है ये इंक्वायरीज और इंस्पेक्शन कंडक्ट करता है. उसमें सेबी ही करता है, जैसे सस्पेंड ट्रेड करना है, कोई भी इंडिविजुअल को ट्रेडिंग से मना करना है, अगर कोई भी ट्रांसैक्शन हुआ है उस ट्रांसैक्शन को रिवर्स करना है, ये सब जो है सेबी करता है. सेबी ऑल्सो जो है इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन जो है बहुत सारा सेबी का आपको पता होगा, इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम सेबी कंडक्ट करता है. और वो जो है ये मर्जर्स एंड एक्विजिशन बड़े बड़े कंपनियों का होता है उसको भी सेबी रेगुलेट करती है. अगले काम पे आएंगे तो इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी एंड डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया. हम आपको पता होगा जितने भी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी करना होगा जिसके हिसाब से जैसे क्या क्या इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स होना चाहिए, कैसे कैसे इंश्योरेंस का प्रीमियम होना चाहिए, उसके लिए रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस क्या होना चाहिए, चाहे हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस हो या टर्म इंश्योरेंस हो या जनरल इंश्योरेंस हो, ये सब जो है ये इरडाई जो है इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया ये तैयार करती है. सो अभी हम ये देख सकते हैं कि इट adheres ऑफ इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ लाइट डाउन रूल्स with respect to sum assured, surrender value, nomination. All these aspects will be discussion. And so it also lays down who are the persons who are eligible to sell insurance product, because insurance products are it's a very dicey thing.
So insurance products, if you are selling, you should, disclosure should be very good for the person who is buying insurance product, whether it is general insurance or health insurance or anything. So the person who is selling should be educated. So what should be his minimum education level? That is also determined by the IRDA. It supervises the tariff advisory committee that determines the rate for general insurance product. General insurance product, we know there is motor insurance, term insurance, they're all general insurance product. So what should be the tariffs and other things, that is also decided by the IRDAI. Next, coming to Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Um, it is established under Act 2030. So it regulates, new pension scheme. It registers constituents of new pension scheme like mutual funds, custodians, central record keeping agencies, etc. सो एनपीएस के साथ जो है बहुत सारे ये बैंक भी एनपी पेंशंस प्रोडक्ट्स दे रहे हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड्स भी पेंशन प्रोडक्ट्स दे रहे हैं. तो इनकी कस्टोडियंस कौन, ये सबको जो है रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन जो बनाता है पेंशन फंड रेगुलेटरी ऑफ इंडिया आता है. तो उनका फंक्शंस क्या है, लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड. So it regulates NPS and other pension scheme, register and regulate intermediaries. There are various intermediaries involved in selling the insurance products, pension products. A number of companies are selling pension products. Even banks are selling pension products these days. So approving pension schemes and their investment guidelines. Any company or any bank coming up with any pension scheme, so their pension schemes and their investment guidelines will be validated and approved by the PFRD. It protects the interest of the subscriber by reasonable management cost, and funds are spent as per the directions of the subscriber. So whenever you put in money in your pension fund, that pension fund should adhere to the way it has to spend the money, whatever it is given in the agreement. So it should not spend money indiscriminately, invest money indiscriminately. So these rules and regulations are set by the PFRDA that any pension intermediary who takes money from the individuals should spend the money only for the products which they have told that they will be investing in the pension products. So education of general public with respect to pension products and retirement planning, this is also done by PFRDA. Apart from this, there are a number of self-regulatory organizations who laid the guideline. So for these self-regulatory organizations, also the Ministry of Finance laid down the rules. Sebi laid down the obligation and responsibility of these self-regulating organization. Sebi nominates directors on the board of the self-regulating organization, and self-regulating organization conducts audit and inspection of its members.